I have to go and work a job and I'm only allowed to have the money that that job pays me, that there's nothing more for me and I just have to put my head down and do it is completely false. It helped me address limiting beliefs I didn't even know I had.
Hey, my friends, what's going on? It's Dave Sharpe. Welcome to Wake Up Legendary. And we have yet another amazing guest this morning as we round out the history of the show. At the end of this month, we will be ending Wake Up Legendary as you know it. And the reason is very simple, and it's been thoroughly explained on previous episodes. If you want to know the reason, then go listen to those if you want to know in full. The short version is that Facebook's no longer keeping our live videos here on the platform if they're older than 30 days. So go subscribe to our YouTube channel, David Sharpe Live. We'll be posting there every single day at 10 a.m. Eastern time. And we'll be streaming live there occasionally as well, putting all of our interviews there as well. If you want to go and see all of the over 1,000 interviews that we've done on this show with students, just like you and at all phases of their journey, you can always head over right now. And as I said, all of the episodes are literally on the channel. So intelligently, my team has done this, and thank God, because sometimes platforms change the rules, and so you got to adjust as marketers. And that's exactly what I'm going to talk about with Jennifer this morning, is her adjustment from a special ed teacher to a online marketer and her journey towards financial freedom and what that's like, how that's going, and what she's excited about next. With that being said, Jennifer, welcome to the show.
Good morning, Dave. I'm glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
It's my pleasure. So what state have you taught special ed in? What part of the country?
I taught in Los Angeles Unified for 7 years, and then I moved up to Seattle, and I've been teaching up here for 6 years.
Okay.
I'm actually a special ed and a deaf education teacher. So I work with a lot of kids and families who are deaf or hard of hearing.
So you're a sign language.
I am fluent in ASL.
I would say
I don't teach it, but I teach using it. Yeah.
Okay. I was going to say extraordinaire, but much better use of words.
Fluent. Yeah, I want to be respectful. It's not my first language. It belongs to the deaf community, but I love it and I use it. I
love how you've chosen that as your career path, but I'm sure that, you know, as I always say about our teachers, they're underpaid, and hey, it is what it is. That's not the topic of the show today, but for whatever reason, perhaps it was pay, perhaps it was something else, you chose to start this journey. Why?
Well, so, there's always lots of different factors that figure in, but I became a teacher a little bit later. I became a teacher at 42, and I thought, okay, great. I did everything. I went to school. I got the degree. I got the job. It's a good job with a pension. It's one of the few left, with a pension. Mm-hmm. And then in 2015, out of the blue, my healthy 20-year-old daughter was diagnosed with leukemia. Oh. And, financial vulnerability hits hard when a family member gets sick. And at the same time, just to make it more fun, I was going through a divorce. So I had to take leave of absence, which was unpaid, used up all of our savings, all of our retirement. So I was essentially starting over 3 years later. Now, good news is, knock on wood, she's doing great.
Oh, thank God. Well, that's number one.
Yeah. And, I have to say, she's kind of my inspiration. She has this other disability that makes it difficult for her to work out of the house. So what did she do? She went and got her master's degree in counseling, and she's setting up her online counseling practice, which, I mean, yay. How can I not be inspired by that?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. But so we had some people we considered family come help us for the 3 years that she was in chemotherapy.
Yeah.
And then we had the opportunity to move up here to Seattle and buy a house with them and, be a big family and help each other. And then without warning, out of the blue, one day they said, oh, you kicked us out and we want all the money out of the house. And well, it kind of went downhill from there. So a couple of years later, my kids and I are sitting on a couch in this rental, and I've got 3 dogs and 3 cats, little tiny rental, no yard. And I'm like, there's got to be a better way. I have to stop putting my future in other people's hands. So I started researching, and I got to tell you, I'm sitting on the couch and I'm watching all these people and I'm signing up for all these newsletters and all this stuff. And I keep seeing this guy named Dave popping up in my videos. I mean, to the point where it was almost annoying. I'm like, Dave, get out of my face. But finally, I was watching, I think it was back when Kelly Roberts was still teaching. And I'm watching her and I'm watching her change her life. And I just went, I think this is a thing. So today, yeah, exactly. I'm like, So back in the day, I signed up for the 15-day challenge and I watched the challenge. And I'm gonna make that difference between watching the challenge and actually doing anything.
Mm.
I started making lists. Oh, there's all these things I have to do, all these things. So I started doing little things. I got the LLC, I got this, I got that, but I didn't really do anything. And then you came out with the most beautiful thing. You came out with the confidence challenge. And I dived into that thing, and I have to tell you, that thing was better than therapy. Okay. It helped me address limiting beliefs I didn't even know I had. I I didn't realize that I didn't feel worthy, that I thought nice things, including having your own house and a yard, were for other people, and I was not other people. And
Oh,
it rocked my world. 4 months later, I paid off all of our debt just through looking at what we had and what we could do with it, and we bought a house, just from what I learned in that. And, I mean, it
mm,
changed, and I want
mm,
everybody, I mean, whether you're ready to start a business or you just wanna get your mindset straight, that is the best $7 that you could
mm,
s
mm.
It was awesome.
Ah, so happy to hear that, and that's exactly why it was designed. I would encourage more people to go through it because I think that your challenges that you may be seeing in your business could be solved by working on your person and your happiness and your confidence and your clarity about who you are and what you're capable of is usually just camouflaged, behind
Yeah,
a couple of silly little limiting beliefs that seem really big and serious and scary to us. But they're not.
yeah.
They're sometimes. Would you mind sharing? Is there anything that you could share that would be appropriate for you to have that you realized about yourself? I mean, besides the putting your future in other people's hands, which I can only imagine going through everything that you went through
Yeah.
with daughter and divorce and everything. So, what did you realize about yourself in terms of a limiting belief that was hanging on, causing you problems that you just really needed to do what with?
Um, I mean, I have to say I had some fabulous, um, amazing conversations with, my business advisor, and she also was able to recommend additional books and readings, and I just started eating it up, and I realized that the idea that I have to go and work a job and I'm only allowed to have the money that that job pays me,
Mm,
and that there's nothing more for me and I just have to put my head down and do it is completely false.
mm,
We have the ability, I mean, look at what my daughter's done. I'm not sitting around waiting for things to change. I'm taking the reins myself because I'm worth it. And that's
mm,
one of the things that I really emphasize, and it's always like a hashtag on my posts is you are worthy because people
mm.
don't feel like they're worthy of all that. Like
Yeah.
it's this is my life, this is what I get, but it's not. There's so much more available for you. There's a whole world out there that you don't know anything about. So I tell
Almost like
people,
almost
take a
like
tiny leap. Yeah,
almost like the life that you're living, you were predestined to live, and
exactly.
that's what you deserve, and that's all that's available for you. Or what you have is for you, and what like those other higher paying jobs or those businesses or that kind of stuff, that's for other people.
Exactly, and I wasn't other
Right.
people.
Yeah.
I grew up, with a single parent, never had any money. I remember I think my parent paid $15 a month for my clarinet, renting it when I was in high school, and that was a ton of money
Mm,
because I'm that old. Um, but so to me, it was I would always look out the window at the house next door, and they had, they had a tree house, and they had the basketball thing, and they had way back in the day, it was, I want to say, an Atari. And I was like, oh my gosh. And they had two televisions and stairs in their house. And so my view was always looking down as, oh, that's what other people get. And I'm here in this little apartment with no air conditioning, and that's not for me. And, all that stuff that's programmed into you when you're a kid that you don't recognize.
yeah.
And in going through that challenge, I was like, I took one of those little 50 cents composition notebooks. And
Hmm.
I literally filled the whole thing, scribbling, following all the exercises, going through them, and then going through them on a deeper layer. And I mean, I came out of that feeling like, oh my gosh, I have this ability to change my life myself. And I'm looking around at all these amazing educators that I work with, and I'm talking teachers, I'm talking paraprofessionals, teachers, aides, interpreters, and they're all struggling too. And I'm like, you
Mm.
know what? I'm taking you all with me because we all deserve this. We are all worthy of a life that doesn't exhaust us.
Wow. And what do you think the most, because physical exertion is not the most exhausting thing in my history. I assume that you're talking about we all deserve a life that doesn't exhaust us. In what way? What are the things are we all deserve a life that we're not exhausted by what?
For example, do you ever have people set up at 2 a.m. and they're worried because the dog got sick and how am I going to pay that bill? Or, oh my God, the transmission died in my old car and it's the only way I have to get to work, but I don't have 2 grand to fix it. How am I going to do this?
You're talking
And
about the mental
the
stress and the
mental
mental
stress.
exhaustion of where. And I think that you nailed it earlier, and I've said this for years. I think it's hard to grasp until you're there. And I think a lot of things in life are like that, right? You never
Yeah.
think they're going to happen to you, but there's so many people who are one financial medical emergency away from complete financial disaster. I mean, you really described that probably more accurately than any other story that I've heard in a really long time, right? And then you throw the other crap that you went through
Yeah.
in, and it's like whirlwind. And I mean, in that moment, your life was crashing out around you, and you, I think that I think there's two really dangerous times. It's when things are going really good and we get complacent, and when things are crashing out and we're in crisis. And we either further self sabotage or stop and say, okay, I'm going to put the shovel down, stop digging, stop everything, and let's do something productive, which is what you did.
Yeah.
Do you think that it's that you were already involved in the community that helped you to find the motivation to do the confidence challenge when you were at such a difficult time in your life? What do you think that is important for
I
people to
think
remember right now or do if they are feeling like they're in crisis and the world's on top of them?
because for many people it is. I really feel like sitting down and I mean, I literally wrote down all my bills and debts because I was afraid to look at them. And if you can't look at them, you can't fix them. And just being able to do that. And then I went through and I'm like, oh, wait, but we have these things, we have these assets. What if we were able to take these and change the whole way we looked at them? And I did. And it ended up buying us a house, which is amazing because I'm no longer dealing with landlords. And, you ever try and rent with 6 animals? That's a fun thing.
Can
Um,
you tell us what you saw within your finances after going through the confidence challenge and kind of how you were able to dig up that down payment when
yeah.
it was there all along? Like what are the specifics of how that happened?
So I had, when I left California, I had 7 years of putting into the teacher pension, right?
Mhm.
And then I rolled it into another, IRA type of thing, and it grew there. And I'm looking at this debt and I'm looking at this and I'm saying, okay, well, I could have this in 8 years with fewer taxes. Or I could use this, pay the taxes on it, take care of my debt, get the house, and start building that equity that's going to go a lot quicker than it is sitting in this account. And just realizing I can take all these things that I have and play with them in different ways. And obviously, talk to my CPA and make sure I'm doing it correctly because I'm not a CPA. I'm a
Mhm.
teacher. You want to know how to read?
Mhm.
I can teach you that. You want to talk about finances? I can help you at high school level. So, just seeing, look, this is possible. You don't have to listen to the rules of you're supposed to only do this and only do this and, wait until you're 65 to use any of this money that they've been taking out of
Sure.
your payment every month.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Talk, preach.
Yeah. And that was huge for me. That was a huge breakthrough because, and I'm not saying everybody should go out and liquidate their accounts, but when you're starting over with nothing, which is where we were
There
in
you go.
2015, and then I built that up. We needed faster. We needed growth. We needed safety. The house we were living in prior to this was making my kids sick, and we had to get
The rental.
the rental. Yeah,
Yeah.
and
A lot of people have that mold and so forth that's in
exactly,
rental homes and stuff. Yeah.
exactly. And on top of that, he was raising the rent every time he could, 5%. How many
Mm,
people can take a 5% increase?
yeah.
Every 9 to 12 months.
Right. When you're getting a 0% increase on your
Exactly.
inflation wages.
Exactly.
Okay, so I got it. I got it. I want to give everybody a little bit of experience from a non-licensed financial advisor, but who is a decamillionaire and who did, you know, who has. I have taken my investments back into my own hands, and I actually manage them myself versus outsourcing them to a financial advisor because I've kind of learned the game, and the game is pretty much either try to beat the S&P 500 or just ride the S&P 500 like everybody else is doing in the entire world, right? And that's the basics of what you guys need to learn in terms of investments. It's what is a simple index fund? It's basically something that tracks all. The S&P 500 is the 500 largest companies in America on the publicly traded stock market, and they're in the S&P 500. And if you buy a share of the index fund, which is kind of like a stock, you can buy a share of a index fund that kind of has a portion of all 500 of those stocks in there, a little sliver. And they're broken down they're weighted based on how big the company is. So you're going to get more Apple and more Google than you do a smaller company in the S&P 500. But all of your life insurance companies, all of your pension plans, all of your anything that you're invested in, for example, a pension plan
Mhm.
has then invested the money that you gave them into the S&P 500.
Exactly.
For example, okay, and there the rule is you can't take the money out until you're 65 or whatever, but they're using your money to make money. And that's the same thing that banks do. You
Yep.
ever gone to the bank and tried to get $100,000 out or $50,000 out or $20,000 out or any
Not
amount
yet.
of money and they told you that you couldn't? I know that's why I was kind of bringing it down because I was trying to hit a number that maybe some people have done before. But even sometimes when you ask for, you know, 10,000, they're like, oh wait, we got to go get it, or we don't have it. Or if you want anything more than that, it's like they got to call it in. They don't even have it in the bank. Well, that's a good visual of what they're doing with your money. You're sending it in a savings account and they're taking it and investing it in the S&P 500. And the S&P 500 is just the most popular way to talk about the stock market, right? It's like the
Mhm.
biggest kind of thing that we can kind of track that helps us to understand if it's going up or going down, because it tracks those 500 companies. And so when I realized that, man, holy crap, I'm paying a financial advisor 1.5%, whether he loses or makes me money, he's just getting 1.5% of my total portfolio every year just to manage it. And Warren Buffett said that hardly anybody ever just beats the S&P 500, that when he dies, he's going to put the majority of his wealth for his wife and whoever into a singular index fund that tracks the S&P 500. So what does that tell me, Dave? And what the hell is your point? What is this, a financial investment class? It is. And my point is that if you do choose to take out something and pay a prepayment penalty or whatever, you can easily then go back to building your own retirement investment account by simply doing the investing into the S&P 500 yourself instead of having somebody else do it for you. That's all a pension plan or whatever that stuff is that we'll do it for you. Now there's an element of we'll match, which is nice from your company.
Yep.
But yeah, you're right. What's this you can't touch it until you're 65 crap? I just want to remind everybody that if you have done anything like that, just simply cut out the middleman and begin your own investment portfolio by, for example, if you bank with Bank of America, you can set up a Merrill account and it'll all show right there in your back office. Or go to Merrill Edge, go to
I use Fidelity. Yep, it's free.
Fidelity or an E-Trade. Like, these accounts allow you to, every single month, what I've been doing for over a decade is every single month when I look at my profit and loss and say there's $20,000 down there, there's $2 million down there, I take a percentage of that. As you all know, I take 30% and put right in my 30 to 35% right in my tax bank account, because I pay my taxes quarterly, and then sometimes there's money left over, and it acts as a savings account too. I pay my expenses off every month, personal and business, through one credit card account on each through American Express. And then a portion of whatever I earn, I'll also go and just immediately invest right into some sort of an index fund. And my investments are very simple: gold, real estate, index fund, nothing fancy. Crypto's shooting to the moon right now. Look, is that something we should all jump on? I mean, more power to you, but I'm like a tortoise, man. I just want, my big risk is my business. I'm taking risks there every day. I want safe investments that can grow intelligently. The S&P 500 has grown 10% a year over the past 100 years. If that goes down, we're all screwed. You're not alone, right? So anyways, just a little, for those of you who are feeling pressure about pulling money out of your thing, or if you've done it already, I just want to remind, I feel like, Jennifer, you've begun to take this journey, but for those of you who haven't, understand how to become your own bank. Understand how to at least be your own banker. Be an investment advisor. If you have other people in your circle, you better damn well know what the hell they're talking about, or else you're going to be charged fees and have your money managed and controlled by somebody else your entire life. And that is the number one way I can guarantee you will never be financially free.
And can I tell you, when I went through and I listed all my finances and I listed all my assets and I printed out the statements, because everything's electronic, so you don't get it in the mail.
Yeah.
I realized that one of my accounts was charging me $40 for each section, so $80 a month. And I was like, no, that's going to wipe out anything I'm making. You're charging me $80 a month to hold on to my money. And that was huge. And I just went, nope, I'm doing this now. It's mine. I'm taking it.
Well, good. The problem, and I do feel like I should give the other side of that. The problem with sometimes managing your own money is that you can be you've got no barrier there. Sometimes a financial advisor who's helping you manage your money can be a barrier, a sounding board. Don't panic, don't sell. Let's ride this out. So that's the one thing that I would say, if you're really, if you don't have any discipline, if when the stock market starts crashing a little bit, you're the type to panic and sell, then you probably shouldn't manage your own, or at least not at first. here's another thing that I did. I had an investment advisor help me to manage my money for about a year and a half. And then I had him sell my entire portfolio. And I rebought on my own. Actually, tax loss harvested some losses, and it actually ended up working out pretty well. But those are just some of the things that I think are important to know about that I don't remember being taught in school, Jennifer. And I know you're a
Right.
teacher, but there's some financial literacy pieces that are
Yes.
missing.
Yes. In fact, I've had families that, because for the last few years I've been teaching fourth and fifth grade, and I've had families who are like, he's so mad I won't buy him $99 of Robux for Roblox online. And I said, do you want me to bring financial literacy into my classroom? And they're like, yes, please. So I actually brought in a financial literacy curriculum that I had my fourth graders go through so that they learned what is rent, what is mom paying for? Why can't she just go buy me everything I want?
Love that.
And I wanted to make sure too, though, that I'm not teaching them that scarcity mindset, because that's what we have to get out of. It was more of a, hey, this is what it goes towards. So you're making choices right now, and mom's making these choices. And as you grow up and you get skills, you can help build that family.
I love that.
Yeah.
Because kids just have no concept of money, and
Ooh.
then we grow up and have no concept of money because
I had
money
no
was,
idea,
yeah, it's one of those things you're not supposed to talk about.
right?
You're
And
actually, I mean, when I grew up, you weren't supposed to ask people or talk like what they made. I mean, you could
yep,
ask what they did, but dude, don't you dare ask about what they made or money. That is a rude question.
it is. And I had people when I was a kid and I said, I want to be a teacher. My whole family spent my entire childhood saying, no, 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 you're too smart. You can't be a teacher. So, I floundered until I was 42 and I became a teacher. I was like, this is
Wow.
what I want. This is what I want to do. And
Wow.
now I get to
Wow.
do it not just in my classroom, but I get to my reach is expanded. I get to teach all these amazing other teachers that I never would have met before.
Yeah, no, you're the what you have is a wonderful skill that can be digitized or electronicized.
Yes.
You can take. I mean, and that's the beauty of whether we want to call it teaching or helping people, but just simply to if many of you could think of your new business, if you're in the information business, e-learning, coaching, as giving people what you never got.
Yeah.
If you could just approach your whatever it is that you're helping people with and whatever niche it is, just with whatever you wish you had got or didn't get, that would be enough for, and then it would also create your story. Your story's right there within that. It's like, yeah, like I created, like this is like a fail proof, like mission thing. It's like, yeah, so we created the thing that we wish we had, right? Like
Yeah.
that's like if I wanted to plug and play like a mission statement into any company and be like, I mean, is this true? Could you borrow this? And they're like, yeah, we really did turn it into the dog grooming business that didn't exist. It's like, cool. That's a really cool mission story. So if you guys could think of it like that, and I think that's a cool way to think of life. It's like, I'm trying to give my kids what I didn't get, what my parents didn't know to give me, what I felt. I'm going to give them what I did get, but I also want to give them what I didn't get. If you can think of your business like that, then it really gives you a great story and a great edge.
And I think it was you or Ryan or somebody in one of the trainings was like, you in the past, you're your best client. That's who you're talking to. And that's who
Absolutely.
I'm talking to. I'm talking to that mom who was struggling, talking to that teacher who was struggling and on FMLA unpaid. How am I going to pay my bills and take care of my kid? Oh, and take care of my other kid who's 15 and can't drive yet, you know?
Yeah. Well,
So
hey, congratulations. I'd love to give you some validation and let you know that we see you. You're a rock star
thank
and you've
you.
climbed out of a great hole. And hopefully you consider us a group of people who have climbed down in there and helped you get out. So,
It's been
and it's been
awesome.
our honor to do
Thank
so.
you so much.
You're welcome. And thanks for being on the show. And we'll talk to you very soon. I look forward to interviewing you in our new format here starting next month. And be legendary, my friend. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you for everything. You're
You're, s-
awesome. This company is just such a beautiful family. Thank you so much.
you're so welcome. Thank you. Thanks for trusting us. You know, as a teacher, trusting a ninth grade dropout, kind of weird.
You know,
Kind
there's
of
a
a
lot
weird
of
thing.
life experience that doesn't come out of school.
All right. Well, hey, it's a pleasure. My best to your family,
Thank you.
your wonderful daughter, who's doing great now that you shared with us. So happy to hear about that. And have a great one. We'll talk to you soon. Okay.
Thank you. Bye, Dave.
All right. Bye. All right, my friends, we will be back here tomorrow for another episode, as we always have done until the end of the month when we'll be phasing out and ending the show for good. It's all over, guys. It's all over. It's coming to an end. If you're just logging on, it's done. We're shutting it down. Wake Up Legendary, that is. And we'll be publishing at 10 a.m. Eastern Time on YouTube on the David Sharpe Live channel, 10 a.m. Eastern Time every single day. Switch it up a little bit, right? We're going for the big YouTube expansion, right? You got to go where you can grow. And as you may have heard, Facebook is taking down all live recordings here this month. So we're going to move to YouTube with daily 10 a.m. Videos going live. Not live every day, live occasional streaming, but still interviews, all the stuff that you guys love and how you love to learn, which is our crazy off the wall kind of never know what you're going to get. But we're going to still bring the heat. All the organized content and curriculum is inside of the members area. If you want a more organized path to learning the skills, starting the business, then go start with our AI Business Builder Challenge. You can start that over at aibusinessbuilderchallenge.com, or there may be an affiliate who sent you here who has a link, and click it, right? Let them earn a commission for sharing it with you, and they will at no additional cost to you. We've also, as was mentioned, have the confidence challenge. Do I have a link for that? Maybe somebody could drop it in the comments. I don't have one here on my thing. But my friends, take the training, change your life. See you back here tomorrow for another episode. Get out of here. Peace.